Welcome to the NSO Musicians Podcast.
This podcast invites you behind the scenes of the Nashville Symphony so that you can get to know who we are, what we do, and why it matters.
I'm Ashley Odom, a violinist in the orchestra.
And I'm Will Leathers, principal trumpet.
Today joining us are our two librarians. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Renee Pflughaupt, and I am principal librarian with the Nashville Symphony.
And I'm Amelia Van Howe, librarian with the Nashville Symphony.
And just a little bit about each of us. I'll talk a little bit about my background. So, every performance librarian has a background as a musician. I studied piano from a very young age and also then the clarinet, have a degree in clarinet performance and also journalism. Uh, the journalism obviously did not quite pan out. And I've been doing library work for a little over a decade now in various types of ensembles. And this is my fourth season now here in Nashville.
Similarly to Renee, I started music at a fairly early age, and then I majored in oboe performance. So I have a couple of degrees in oboe performance, and I came to librarianship by a fairly calamitous route, which I think is true for most of us.
Yes.
This is not, a major that you can pursue in school. And so every performance librarian you talk to, I think, has a very different story of how we got here. For me, it was COVID. And at that time, I was freelancing in Pittsburgh. I was playing oboe in multiple orchestras. I was teaching lessons. I was making reads, and all of that work was suddenly gone. And so my alma mater, Duquesne University, called me up and said, "Hey, would you like to be our ensemble librarian?" And I said, "Well, I've never done anything like that before, but I am sitting on the couch playing Resident Evil, so sure, no problem." And I wound up really, really liking it. And from there, I immediately discovered I didn't know anything, and I reached out to the Pittsburgh Symphony Librarians and interned there for a couple of seasons before I wound up here in Nashville.
Wow. So tell us about the role of a music librarian. What do you think people's preconceptions are versus reality?
So I mentioned performance librarian, which is a very important distinction. Oftentimes, when someone thinks of a librarian, they are thinking about a circulation librarian. And so having a huge store of materials and anyone and everyone comes in asking to check out items or seeking out information, and then they go and find it and they hand it out. Performance librarian has a bit of that. Yes, we take out materials and we prepare it for distribution to the orchestra, but there is so much work that has to go into researching the various versions of every piece of repertoire, all of the various edits that are required by string players, by brass players, woodwind players, percussionists, what the conductor wants, and then making certain that all of those edits are in the correct version, the right number of parts, and collating everything carefully and making certain that everyone gets the music in the right place at the right time so that they're able to adequately prepare before that first rehearsal and so that there's as little issue as humanly possible. And because of that, the collection for any symphony library is not necessarily open. Uh, Typically, it's only the librarians, maybe some conductors if they are trustworthy. I typically deemed trustworthy by the librarians in order to peruse the catalog and to pull items out, but not necessarily even the musicians of the orchestra are allowed to go in because this cataloging system was set up by the librarians specifically for this orchestra with our performance history. And if one thing gets tucked somewhere else, it will probably be years before it is found again. A funny little story I have about that from a prior orchestra. It was the first show that I had ever prepared, and we were doing Rhapsody in Blue, and they had a pretty decent set on their shelf. And so I pull it out and I check through the parts, and the second clarinet part was missing. And I was like, oh no, this is no longer available to purchase. I will have to place a rental order because I had no way to procure that second clarinet part otherwise. And of course, the rental parts were horrid and wretched, and everyone had all of their markings in it. And I had so many complaints by everyone. 2 years later, I found myself in the stacks at the university that frequently traded parts with that local orchestra. I was cataloging their entire collection, and I found the second clarinet part for
Wow.
Rhapsody in Blue tucked right inside of a random set of parts that they had traded at one point in time.
Yeah.
Just the literal needle in a haystack. So,
Wow.
again, making certain the right music, right place, right time.
You know, I know of a trumpet player who would probably be considered a librarian's worst nightmare anywhere. And this person is now retired, and I won't say who this person is or whether or not, I'm not even sure that this story is entirely true. But he was a utility player in a certain orchestra somewhere in North America, and the story is that essentially he would receive maybe a third trumpet part or a fourth trumpet part to play,
Mm-hmm.
and in their old hall way back in the day, he would just kind of slip it in a crack up, somewhere backstage and go, "Sorry, no third trumpet part, no fourth trumpet part. I'm gonna go home now." So yeah, I'm sure that whenever they, sometime they might have been renovating at that place. I'm sure they found lots of section trumpet parts back there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah. I hope that story's not true, and I'm sure you two hope that story's not true, but
Very much so.
there are all sorts of musicians out there that like to do funny things like that. So yeah, yeah, for better or for worse, makes a great story though.
It certainly does. It certainly does. And I mean, every show has a story, and so it just kind of builds up over and over and over again over the years. And unfortunately, the ones that you remember, yeah, there's some funny ones that you remember, and oftentimes it's really the disasters that you remember because it causes so much trauma, and there's so much work that we do to make certain these things don't happen, but we're all human and stuff happens. So because like one story that I have is it was a co-commission that we did here, and so it had been performed recently, and we knew that there were edits that were being made to the set of parts, and we were very patient. We were very, very patient and in communication with the copyist about when the parts were going to finally come, and they eventually did come. And so we did all of our bow markings in it because there was like inserts of new music in there from after the commission, and we had it all ready to go and in everyone's folders. And it was the day of the first rehearsal. And one of the stage managers runs in here and says, "The conductor just shouted your name from the podium. He is still conducting, but I think he wants you." And I'm like, they are on the new piece right now. I am grabbing the score and I'm running out there. And I ran out there and I'm with the cover conductor, and we're just like watching him just like keep conducting, and like he didn't even notice I was there because he was probably just like in his own world at the moment. Apparently what had happened was that the composer had made edits directly to a copy of the score and then communicated the edits separately to the copyist.
Oh boy.
So the copyist had edited the set of parts apart from seeing what was in the score. And there ended up being extra music in the parts that were not in the score.
Wow.
And so, conductors just up there and being like, I don't know what's happening. I don't see anything in the score right now, but I'm just going to keep going.
Just refuse to crash and burn there.
Absolute refusal. And so, of course, quick back and forth finding a cell phone number for the copyist and for the composer, confirming where the music needed to be taken out. And like there were multiple soloists and the effect of the soloist music. We made it all happen. It was definitely a lot later to be discovering such a change than we hoped. But we got it done.
You saved
Wow.
the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes a lot of responsibility to be a librarian. I'm over here worrying about my 3 buttons on the trumpet. And I'm sure a lot of viewers and listeners, as well as myself, are curious about how an organization finds someone who can take on this level of responsibility. In other words, what exactly does the audition process look like? Yeah.
Given
You got here
most
you
recent,
got here most recent, and
yes.
you got here at about the same time as me. So
Yeah,
both
yeah,
4
yeah.
seasons in.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Will, as you mentioned, it is an audition process to be a librarian. I mean, we are musicians too, as we both talked about. We both have musician backgrounds. And so for the audition process for my position, there was a preliminary round in which I had to show my transposition skills. I had to show my bow markings and basically show that I could transfer markings neatly, clearly, cleanly, correctly. And I had to mark a cut, which is always interesting because every orchestra does this a little bit differently.
There were a few cuts.
There were a few cuts, indeed, for Porgy and Bess. I remember it.
Yes.
So that was my prelim round. And once I had sent those materials back in, I was notified that I had advanced to the semifinals, which would be in person. So when I arrived for the semifinals, it was an hour of sit down testing and then a half an hour of interviews. So an hour of looking at a page that had all these different instruments and said, what is the range of the Wagner tuba? And it's like, well, do you want the one in B flat or the one in F or both? Right? A page full of unusual instruments. For example, where are you likely to see a tenor saxophone? Anything Prokofiev. But do you need to hire an extra player, right? Like if you see Clyde and something, who do I give that part to? Right. And so it's that kind of knowledge. There were questions about if you're putting together a pops program and the artist comes to you with a list of titles, what else do you need? And the answer is many, 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 many more things.
Is there a Nashville notation test?
Oh my gosh. We recently ran into this.
Very, very
Oh my
recently.
gosh.
Yes, yes.
But it's just, and my personal favorite question that shows up on a lot of library tests is the triage question, which is, it's 9:30 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. You are the only librarian in a 100-mile radius. The following 5 things happen at the same time. The principal flute has left their folder at home. The personnel manager is calling you about next week's roster. The conductor wants to see you, but you don't know about what. The stage manager wants to go over stage plats. Someone needs a page turn fix. What do you do? And so I think so much of our job is knowing a little bit about everything, right? And being able to prioritize and offer help when we can at the right time for the right situation, or at least knowing where to go for those answers. And I don't know, that's my favorite thing about the job, is that there's truly no end to what we can learn. I mean, it's such a vast field and there are so many directions in which we have to be capable, and it's really niche and really cool.
And it's also an interesting crossroads of having such specific niche knowledge of the repertoire and all the various instruments and of performance practice, like even like the general performance practice, but certainly the performance practice with your own institution, because they have a tradition and you need to be able to know what that is and to make certain that you honor that in future programming. But then there's also this real kind of customer service aspect to it as well. We have everyone in the orchestra coming to us with different types of needs, different types of questions, conductors, music directors, guest artists. Like I had a piano soloist once come in here and say, I am so sorry to bother you with this, but I'm trying to practice this piece that I'm supposed to be playing for a recital next week, and the page turns are horrendous. And I don't do iPads, and I don't have the time to memorize it. And so, just being able to be the expert that can help anyone who comes through the door, because there's no one else here that's really able to do it, or at least not as quickly. So
Yeah, well, now that we covered a lot of things to do with the job, what do you two like to do for fun? Any cool hobbies? Like to, fishing, bowling, anything like those things?
I bowl for fish frequently.
Yeah.
I'm a big movie person, and I really love that here in Nashville we have the Belcourt Theater, which is a terrific independent theater. So you can find me at the Belcourt a couple times a week usually. And I also have been curling for a number of years.
Curling.
Very excited for the Winter Olympics coming up. Go
Mhm.
Team USA. So yeah, I was thrilled to find a curling club this far south.
Yeah, I'm still shocked that there was a curling club this far south. Although I did see a video on Instagram recently in Chattanooga. Apparently, they have a frying pan curling. So chucking
I'd try it.
cast iron
Across
pan
what?
across
Oil?
ice.
You say like some take a bowling lane and grease it up some hard. Or just cook some bacon, use the bacon fat.
Yeah.
And,
Oh yeah.
save it for later after breakfast.
You don't need to sweep.
Yeah.
Just get some bacon grease out there on the ice.
Exactly.
But yeah, when I am not poring over instrumentation dilemmas and bowing quandaries and such, I really love to read. And I didn't go down the path of journalism, but I very much so still love to write. And short stories or poetry, and it's and being able to kind of scratch that creative itch a little bit, because so much of what I do is technical here, and being able to have that side of me as well to take care of that. It's very important to take care of that. You don't a burnt out librarian does no one any good.
I wonder if you could share with us your favorite musical experience. It could be either as a performer or as an audience member. What's a moment that you could share?
A couple of summers ago, I worked as the head librarian for the Spoleto Festival, and we put on Prokofiev's Romeo and Juliet with LA Dance Project. Now, for many, many, many reasons, that program took several years off my life. But after the tremendous amount of work and time and care that I had put into preparing this project, I was able to see one of the performances, and I just cried the whole time. It was so beautiful. It was so moving. That's one of my favorite pieces already. And there's something really special about being able to sit in the audience and say, you know what, I made this happen, and I facilitated this, and so even though we are behind the scenes, I still feel so close to making music, and so close to all of that, and it's just such a special moment.
Years ago, I attended a performance of Mahler 3 at Kansas City, and I was so poor back then. I was working in Omaha, and I would have an evening service, and then I would drive down, and then I would go to a matinee, and then I would drive back up because I didn't have any time. But I just sobbed so hard at the end. And it just was being able to be part of something that can move others so deeply and to communicate on a level of which, I mean, yeah, there was singing, but like there's no words really for how it makes you feel. And it means so much to be able to help change people's lives. So
That's great. Thank you for sharing.
mm-hmm.
Shall we do the rapid fire round?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Favorite composer?
Prokofiev.
Favorite symphonic work?
Brahms 4.
Favorite piece you've ever prepared?
Rapid fire. It's coming up. Mahler 1.
Favorite library tool?
Tiny paper cutter, tiny paper cutter.
Paper parts or tablets?
Paper.
Favorite room at the Skirmerhorn?
The window right in front of my desk.
Lovely.
Favorite country music artist?
Orville Peck.
Favorite cocktail?
Sazerac.
Favorite candy?
Twizzlers.
Favorite
Me
food?
Oh, that's tough. Dal Makhani.
Well, I love Twizzlers, but Skittles are mine. Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Specifically during concert weeks, though.
Night owl always.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you. The end.
The end. And scene.
Okay.
Favorite piece that one has ever prepared? Like, that changes. And also it kind of goes like, next thing, next thing, a little bit. But I mean, the ballets.
They're not my favorite, though.
Yeah.
Because they hurt me.
They always hurt.
Why do they hurt?
Oh my God, ballets are such a cluster every time.
Because of the cuts?
Well, because when you're preparing a ballet, you're working with the ballet company, and they are always speaking a different language.
Mhm.
So, for example, that Romeo and Juliet preparation that I did, that was a situation where they said that they had cuts, and I said, okay, can you send me like a scan of previous materials, a score or something? And they said, oh, we've never done this with live orchestra. So I got to sit there with a score with their reference recording and go line by line and just figure out where are the cuts in this. Yeah. So ballet is always at least 3 times more work than you plan for.
Yes.
Sir, you cannot just send me your GarageBand file and expect me to make these cuts.
Yes.
But actually,
yes. And you know, with ballet, it's such a different medium. It's choreography. They don't really care about the music and about going in order. It's just the artistic director who has like a strike of inspiration and is like, oh, well, I'm going to take this little bit that Tchaikovsky wrote and like isn't even actually part of the ballet, but and like someone orchestrated it and like we're just going to like plop like right in the middle right there, and then we're going to take something from act 3 and then go back to act 2 and just
But doesn't that affect the story that the dancers are trying to tell on stage?
Is there a story?
I think
sometimes, but
to a certain degree.
I don't know, but what is it? Sleeping Beauty, where just like it's every woodland creature comes out.
Yeah.
That you kind of mix and match.
Yeah. And like so much of it just kind of ends up being variations and character dances. And it's you can do that in any order that you want. And so every time I pull the ballet off the shelf and I'm like, all right, I'm going to be spending a week with the score and the set of parts just to see what on earth is happening here, because no one has really kept notes and things happened on the stand that didn't necessarily get communicated to the library in time, and just trying to keep ahead of it as much as I can so that it's not like, oh, we added in a whole number, sorry, you need to go back to the library now and figure out inserts for the entire orchestra. So but some of the music's really good.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, but it is a lot of work.
You know what we could do instead? The sweets.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
Yes. And I do miss opera. It's like and like for me having the elements of, it's like you have the story and the characters and this set design, and then along with the music, and it's just like a marriage of all those things. And we don't do that here. I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's sad. And I mean, we've done like opera galas and things like that, which is nice, but I kind of miss working on opera from other places. So yeah.
How about, would you share one thing you're looking forward to in the remainder of the season that we're going to play?
Well, I know you're looking forward to Mahler 1.
I'm looking forward to Mahler 1.
And we're just going to be singing Mahler 1.
It's the perpetual earworm.
The perpetual earworm. And I am looking forward to having Time for 3 here for that as well, and like kind of bringing, popular artists into a classical medium. I think that's really cool. And then collaborating with Edgar Meyer a few weeks before that as well. So yeah, I think those are the big things. I know we have Sacrifice of Isaac coming up, which that's just going to be a huge orchestra and just a big work to be preparing. And also really looking forward to hearing how the shofar sound. They do not show up on stage terribly often.
I'll do my best. I'm sure we all will, but
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, such a small opening on that thing.
Yeah. And I'm certain there's no two instruments that are alike.
Yeah.
As well. It's like did you draw sticks for like who's going to take which one? Or
no, it's just like, well, I guess Leslie is the one that gets the option between both.
Okay.
And then Paul is playing the big one because I guess he has the
right.
He would probably be. I mean, trombone players are usually the least likely to be able to play on a keyhole sized opening.
Oh my gosh.
So, but I mean, the opening is it's smaller than my smallest mouthpiece would be, at least in terms of the I do know some people that could probably comfortably play that size, but it's also very sharp on the face, so I can't play for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is an aspect to librarianship, though, of kind of being the canary in the coal mine to some degree, because it takes so much time to acquire materials and to prepare it, but we're the first ones to have eyes on scores and thinking about the timings of things and the instrumentations. And repertoire is destiny for any organization. And so I'll see a lineup of repertoire and I'll be like, that week, stage crew are going to be going crazy. And so I probably need to let them know that they're going to be thinking about offstage things and thinking about singers and thinking about piano moves and da 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 da, so that they're not having to scramble and then possibly impacting the art because of it. And because we're always looking to make certain that artistic failures do not happen. So
since we're the first to see things, we're also the first to see the quality of the parts. Should we show them the liggity?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So a lot of the repertoire that we perform is still under copyright, and so we have to reach out to a distributor and rent sets of parts. And depending,
I know when I see a yellow cover, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it the horn part?
It was the horn parts.
No.
This one has seen a little bit of wear and tear, and And like this is the offstage part, so I don't know if they like had it outdoors or
Dunked
something,
it.
so baptized in something, and then
Oh, they
also
bathe it in cherries or something?
Looks like a crime scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
well, and then you go through the string parts, and like it also kind of looks like a crime scene of like everyone's markings and everyone's like little personal reminders, and it's like it is not very friendly to look at even when it's clean. And so, I reached out to the publisher and I said, this is a little bit much.
Maybe a biohazard?
Yeah.
Perhaps even a biohazard. And is it at all possible?
You shine black light on that thing?
Oh, I would probably be shining a black light on everything, and we would probably not want to walk into this space ever.
We already have to scrape bugs off parts after
Oh,
outside
yeah.
concerts.
Oh, yeah.
There has been
Blood.
There has been so much blood on
So
music this year. Everybody
much
keep
blood.
your blood in your body. The blood stays
Yes.
in the body.
You know, one of the first operas I played in with the Santa Fe Opera. Maybe one of the last few pages. There's just a big old. I forgot what kind of bug. Something with really big wings, just kind of fossilized on the page. So maybe it was somewhere in the middle. And one of my colleagues said to me, "Oh yeah, that's been there for a while. This is someone who's been there for almost 30 years." So yeah, just fossilized in the book forever. It's like I could pick it off, but I feel like I'd be breaking tradition at this point.
Oh my goodness. Hopefully not a cicada. That would be terrible.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us and
Of
sharing
course.
a behind-the-scenes look into
Mhm.
the lives of our music librarians. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the NSO Musicians podcast. Subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Also, follow us on Instagram at NSO Musicians and TikTok at Nash Symphony Musicians.